Welcome to another episode, everyone. Well, I just covered where Suge Knight was accusing Snoop Doggy Dogg of Tupac's murder. Now, Suge Knight is saying that it was not just Snoop Doggy Dogg, that many people were involved in Tupac's murder. He says that Keffe D, the defendant, Dwayne Davis, told on himself, that he snitched on himself. Suge Knight said that he wasn't going to speak on it, and then he's turning around and speaking on it. Not only that, he has written a book, has Suge Knight, but he said that he's not going to release the book now since Dwayne Keffe D Davis is on trial for the murder. He will release the book next month in September when the trial has concluded. We're getting down to the bottom of the Tupac Shakur murder and the Tupac Shakur murder trial and who did what, and all sorts of things have been coming out in this trial already. It is fireworks. Check this one out.
I would think that you're very interested in what happens in this trial.
Well, I'm interested in that it should really be a teaching moment. We've been through so much over the years, right? And not just, for his hip-hop, for a black man, we go through a lot. And society goes through a lot, in society, period. If we can't learn from it and learn something about it and teach something, we're wasting our time. So I definitely always down for trying to make everybody get a better view of life to help.
So, the interesting thing about this case.
Yeah, we go through a lot. And people like you help the black community go through a whole lot. People like me, back in my days, terrorizing the community. We go through a lot and we put ourselves through a lot.
Is that, what the prosecution is saying is the best witness for them is Keffe D, because he essentially confessed that he wrote a book. He's talked about this on podcasts. He's now kind of moonwalking back here and saying, well, I had a ghostwriter in the book. What do you make of that?
He's full of I look at it like this. It's not about picking on Keffe D, but at the same time, most of his situations, I know he did it to himself. I knew his lawyer was a friend of mine, and I knew about him having immunity and doing that deal a long time ago. But the crazy thing about it, for 30 years or so or more, it cost me my freedom, it cost me money, it cost me business deals. I paid a lot for the fact that from day one, even though I got a bullet an inch into my skull, they always says I'm the one who had Tupac killed, which is far from the truth. Every person who participated in that, they never brung up. But I believe in giving everybody the opportunity. I have a book coming out called Your Pain Is My Joy. It was coming out this month. When I found out that he wasn't been going to trial, I said, well, I'm not going to put the book out. I'll put it out in September because it'll be too much, for him to deal with. He deserves a fair shake. But I think what he should do, he already told everything. He already told on himself. He should deal with a situation where make it best for everybody. Put it in a situation where there's a lot of people who participated and a lot of people who they don't talk about. And I'm not here to say they should get punished because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in the revenge. I believe that my kindness comes from God. My strength comes from God. So I'm not on that page of saying they need to get punished, but it's sort of sad that every person has all dropped everything on Keffe D. When you look at it, he got immunity. So they can never charge him again. But then he was in bed and dealing with a guy that knew if you do a book, he was on one podcast 7 times, another podcast 5 times, and he did a book.
So,
that destroyed his immunity.
Suge, I know you've told us over the years that you're not snitching, you're not naming any names, but it does sound like you were saying
there are other people involved.
You said
beyond Keffe D.
many others.
And even though Keffe D is the guy standing trial, that there are many others involved?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say these guys' names, but everybody, one thing you got to realize, even in my book, that's why I pushed it back. It tells the details of certain things, but it's still no names involved. If that's all you got to look around and see the people, even people who got the fake death row. They've been talking and talking and talking and talking. All of a sudden, it get close to this situation with Keffe D, everybody's quiet. One thing I also want to say is that there was a girl I knew back in the day named SKG. She was black, Asian, about 5'6", 115 pounds. Now somebody else saying they SKG. And they deal with a person that deals with Keffe D. They deal with a person who hated Tupac. All these people were saying the most horrible things about Tupac that you possibly can say about a man. And it was all lies. Now they want to act like they're going to report what's going on. But these guys is in Keffe D's camp who tried to bail him out and help him. I don't look for bad on him, but I don't look for good on him.
Oh, man, this is deep. Well, I mean, first Suge Knight, as I said, he was just saying that Snoop Doggy Dogg was involved. Still doesn't mean that he's now saying that Snoop Doggy Dogg was not involved. He never said that Snoop Doggy Dogg pulled the trigger, but just that he knew what was going down and he had a hand in it. He just said that. But now we have a situation where he is clearly blaming Keffe D, saying, well, he snitched on himself. He did 5 different podcasts, different interviews. He wrote a book. He might as well just go and come out with it now. He told on himself, and he said that he made my life hard because he had people thinking that, I don't know how Keffe D had people thinking that he killed Tupac, but I guess he's saying that since no one had been convicted of it, people are, been saying that I did it for the past 30 years or that I had something to do with it, and I did not. Well, yeah. Suge Knight gave this interview with here on TMZ, shout out to TMZ, 11 days ago. So this is before the trial started. Little did he know during this interview that Keffe D was certainly going to be snitching on him. It all came out in the trial. Keffe D hasn't snitched on him during the trial. He hasn't spoken yet, Keffe D. Dwayne Davis. He hasn't got on the stand, so we don't know what he's going to say on the stand. But it has come out in the trial that he was dealing with the FBI in 1998, the defendant, Keffe D, Dwayne Keffe D Davis. And when dealing with the FBI in 1998, he told the FBI that Suge Knight here had the north side of Compton sold up with the drug trade. This is what he said to the FBI in 1998. This has come out in the trial. I covered that here on the Inside Story with me, Damian Porter, yesterday. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. And I covered that where Keffe D had told the FBI that not only that, Keffe D had told the same FBI agent he alluded to that Suge Knight was responsible for Tupac Shakur's murder, that Suge Knight had the Compton police kill Tupac Shakur under his authority, under his direction, Suge Knight's direction, because Tupac Shakur was leaving death row. And Suge Knight did not want him to leave death row, so he had the police kill Tupac. This is what Keffe D told the FBI. So Suge Knight is here saying that I'm not going to release my book that was scheduled to be released this month because apparently he has a lot to say about Keffe D in that book, even though he said that he hasn't named any names. He just essentially said that the book will cause Keffe D some problems. The defendant, Dwayne Keffe D, some problems. So out of respect, he's not going to release the book until next month, as we just heard him say. But again, little did he know, or does he know at the time he's giving this interview less than 2 weeks ago, that Keffe D did not grant him the same grace. Keffe D has been snitching on him since 1998 and hell, accusing him of Tupac Shakur's murder.
It is what it is. But at the same time, I think it's an opportunity for him to clear the board.
Are you saying
He know the truth.
Are you saying that there's someone who either hired or sent Keffe D on this mission to kill Tupac?
You know, one of the things you got to realize, this was assassination. It wasn't over no chain. It wasn't over no colors. This was assassination. And they can do one who assassinated Kennedy and everybody can talk about it. But when it comes to Tupac, nobody really wants the truth because the fact that the truth would have set me free. The truth wouldn't have caused them, the same people who allowed them to lie on me, it's the same people. You got to remember one thing, Harvey.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
What I like about you, we got a lot in common. You started TMZ, you are TMZ. I done seen people over the years say, you know what? I'm going to start my own TMZ. You know what? I'm going to do some of my own. And they fail, and they fail, and they fail. That's like what people say about Death Row. Well, I'm going to start my own Death Row. I'm going to be Death Row. And they fail, and they fail, and they fail. That's why I with you, because we got a lot in common. But this is the thing. When it's all said and done, this really, all this stuff.
Well, Death Row failed and failed and failed too in the end. Should have been $1 billion entity, but because of your ill-advised decisions, it was not. It went bankrupt.
Constantly destroying hip-hop. Hip-hop is one of the most influenced art that you can think of. And even today, you got guys still paying for stuff that they have no reason to get a fair shake. Shot goes out to Lil Durk. Shot goes out to the other little young guy who's real, Pooh Shiesty, NBA guy. It's on us to lay our truth down to help the people behind us. We so caught up in look at me, look at me, look at me. We got to figure out how to fix this. Only way we can fix this is by putting everything on the table.
So, you know,
I'm confused, man. He just said that, the book was destructive in the community. The book that Keffe D had written and mentioned destruction in the community earlier. And now he's saying that he's giving a shout out and praising, venerating Lil Durk, who's accused of multiple murders in a federal custody. Pooh Shiesty, who's accused of robbing Gucci Mane and whoever else he just named that is also involved in some stuff that's not helping the community.
Suge, I have talked to you. I have talked to you over the years about this, and there's something I don't understand because you just said a few minutes ago that you are not into revenge. That's why you're not going to talk. But Tupac was a close friend of yours, and isn't there a difference between revenge and justice? That you said earlier that Keffe D is full of and that you were kind of scoffing at him. So do you feel like there should be, I guess what I call justice in the system where he's convicted and maybe others come forward and are convicted as well? Or do you think they should all be shut down?
Well, I think it's no justice from a man come from the inner cities in the courts. I think it's all revenge. So we never get justice. So when you really look at it,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
you just had it on your show, a white woman stabs a black man to death and kills him, and they get 3 or 4 years. People had guns, and they had tests to prove they was trying to kill me. It was a hit, and someone dies, and look how much time I got.
Seems like Suge was watching yesterday. He made the reference to Courtney Clenny
Yeah.
getting out in less than 2 years.
Well, you heard they said 60 seconds left, and they mean business in the penitentiary. So we have lost Suge, but I think he gave us his.
Yeah, Courtney Clenny, the woman who stabbed a black man to death, has less than 2 years to do for it. A brutal, violent murder it was. But welcome to America. He was where he wanted to be. Rest in preference. That's what he wanted. That's what he was making all kind of posts about black women being inadequate, violent and aggressive. But the violent and aggressive one is the one that stabbed you to death, not the black woman. Side note. At any rate, there you have it. Let me know what you think in the comments. We continue to cover the Tupac murder trial here on the Inside Story with me, Damian Porter. There you have it. Suge Knight saying he's not going to testify, I suppose. Well, actually, he did not say whether he would testify or not. He said he has not mentioned any names in the book, but he certainly said it not a lot still. He said that it was an assassination. If you look at what happened, it wasn't over no chain being snatched. He said it wasn't over no colors, so it wasn't over no gang stuff. It was an assassination, he said. He said that many people were involved. So many people were involved in an assassination on Tupac Shakur, is what Suge Knight said. He's still telling, he's still snitching. He just hasn't named the name, but he's just said, here's the puzzle. Police put it together. And it's not hard for you all to put together. We all know who he's talking about. Bad Boy, P. Diddy, all these old people. It already didn't come out in the trial. That supposedly P. Diddy was supposed to pay the defendant, Dwayne Keffe D. Davis, for killing Tupac. And Keffe D never got his money, and allegedly that's why Biggie Smalls was killed. But there you have it, Suge Knight exposing a lot about the situation. He said Keffe D is full of crap. You heard him say that. And that he snitched on himself. He might as well just come out with it, etc. But he did say that he was offering and extending him grace by not releasing the book until next month, until the trial has concluded. Nevertheless, again, I'm sure he gave this, at the time he gave this interview, well, I know that it was 11 days ago, so he did not know that Keffe D, again, had been snitching on him since 1998, involving him in an illicit drug trade, a big, heavy, big-time drug trade Keffe D said Suge Knight was involved in. And I'm sure, again, he's just now finding this out, that this has been said about him there in court in the Tupac murder trial. So we'll see what happens as we continue. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay safe and stay free. Woo.